There are a few things that make filming this kind of equipment a bit awkward. First, the size of the object. Second, why is it that whenever I film ships, convertibles or motorcycles, it always rains? Third, half of the object is submerged in water and what is visible has names that the average person cannot pronounce. Obgaldir, guy, kabletak, how does it sound? And I can't not take it off. Look what he looks like. A serious vessel with very familiar outlines. I think that in your childhood, if you grew up near a big river, the sea or a lake, you must have seen a boat like this. Granted, it's not just a little boat, but a harbor port tugboat. It even has its own name kit. And it serves at the rowing training base of the Saint Petersburg State Maritime University. You've definitely seen something similar, especially its distinctive, memorable silhouette with an exaggerated saddle shape. That's what it's called in professional terms, if I'm not mistaken. This vessel is about 16 meters long. And the freeboard, the part you see above water, is about 1.5 meters. And it goes even deeper below the waterline. And the weight, number, displacement, almost 28 tons. That's with the crew, food, belongings, fuel, and water. Basically, everything included. The weight of the tugboat itself is a separate matter. On water, the weight of every component is taken into account. For example, the tugboat's hull is fully welded, and it alone weighs 13.5 tons. I'm rounding the numbers up for clarity. Obviously, there will be some extra tons overall. And don't worry, I'll announce the final weight. By the way, there's wood in the ship's structure, 1.5 tons of it. Even the crew is counted here. The entire crew with all their personal belongings and everything, 1.2 tons. Here they are, by the way. There are 6 of them, but 2 people are always on watch. What do the other 4 do? They'll definitely find something to do on the ship. Like scrubbing the deck, let's say, or sharpening the anchors. And there are 2 of them here, like 10-fourth anchors. Each one weighs 30 kilograms. By the way, this type of anchor design only appeared in 1948. The anchor digs into the ground like a plow and holds firmly. Look it up. Let's go to one of the heaviest parts of the ship. Let's get dirty. At the same time, we'll understand why this tug is called a marine diesel tug with 150 horsepower. Although, it's pretty obvious. If it weren't for the huge diesel engine, there would be plenty of space here. It's just over 5 meters long, about 3 to 3.5 meters wide, and at the bottom it might even be 4 meters. In the center of the ship, and the tug is definitely a ship is the engine room. If I were to describe everything that's in there, there wouldn't be enough time. So, let's focus on the most important thing. That, of course, is the main ship diesel engine, which drives the main propeller. The 3D6, a 6-cylinder inline engine with a displacement of over 11 liters. Its power output, logically, is 150 horsepower at 1,500 revolutions per minute. So, what makes this engine interesting? To start with, it was developed in the 1930s. Furthermore, it is essentially half of a 12-cylinder high-speed tank engine. And it's half lengthwise, not crosswise as we used to. And this whole structure, stretching all the way back there, weighs over 5 tons. And this little cable here, that's the throttle. Low speed, high speed. Actually, all the controls here are cable operated. Well, not all of them I'll show you. Headphones. They're not just hanging here for no reason. The sound of a running tank engine, even a cut-down one, is seriously powerful. This setup includes not just the engine itself, but also a reverse gearbox, a propeller shaft, and other components, some of which I don't even know about. The engine has a dry sump and both water and oil cooling. There's also an oil tank, a fresh water tank, a distribution panel, and a battery box located in the engine compartment. There was even a workbench with a vise in there. There's a fire extinguishing system, a water fire system, and besides the fire extinguisher, there's also a box of sand. That's a word I learned. Stern tube. It's a tube that runs through the hull of the vessel, through which the propeller shaft passes. It both guides the shaft and prevents water from entering the hull. And the stern tube even has its own cooling system. I don't know why I need this information, but it's interesting. And you can also control the ship from here. Here's the lever for the reverse gearbox. Forward, reverse. All right, time to go up. So our tugboat is single-decked. This is all deck space. It's wide, 4 meters. Let's keep opening doors. Clinket or watertight doors, meaning they seal hermetically. Excuse me. Aha! The head with a wash basin. Well, you can stand up straight in here. It doesn't feel cramped at the shoulders. And there's also a wash basin with hot water. All right, let's keep exploring. We're moving to the starboard side. Looks like the rain is letting up. That's already a blessing. Okay. So, what do we have here? At the entrance, there's a small, cozy kitchen with a gas stove and also a wash basin. The floor is tiled. There's a heater, and once again, the wash basin has hot water. It's also worth mentioning that the boat is divided by 3 watertight bulkheads into 4 compartments. There's a forepeak at the front, a living area, an engine room, and an aft peak. The aft peak is the stern compartment between the stern post and the aft transverse bulkhead. But before we enter the wheelhouse, which I'd like to call the captain's bridge, let's go down to the cabin. Oh, it's actually quite cozy and there's no feeling of claustrophobia. I can stand up straight. I know for sure that it's 4.5 meters long. Now it's clear where the crew members hide, and probably the captain too, when, so to speak, they have nothing to do. What do we have here? Everything is thought out down to the smallest detail. Down to the smallest detail. All right, let's figure out how to lift this. Everything is strapped down. Well, obviously, so that during rough seas, nothing hits anyone, and you end up with sleeping Spasesix people can settle in comfortably. The cleverly designed table folds out, revealing a truly interesting and innovative mechanism, and its impressive length comfortably allows even a very tall person to lie down. Directly above, there are strategically placed light portholes that illuminate the space. All my life I wondered what that pipe was and where it led, but it turns out it's simple. And it's warm here, the circuit, the radiators, everything really. Currently, the ship is heated by electricity. In the forward part of the vessel, as indicated on the plan, there are additional compartments, paint and lamp rooms. Yes, there is also a compartment at the stern called the skipper's room, as well as compartments on the port and starboard sides. There are 2 fuel tanks, or more precisely, cisterns, each holding 1¼ cubic meters. The captain's bridge. There isn't as much here as I thought. I'll try to figure it out by intuition. If anything, someone will tell me later. Well, a steering wheel is a steering wheel, even in Africa. But here, there's a very nice instrument that shows how the ship's rudder turns to the right. The reverse gear lever for forward and backward, and the throttle lever, well, let's call it that. On the left side, an inclinometer, showing how much the vessel is listing. A disc, straight from the 60s. A desk. Saint Petersburg State Marine Technical University. I envy you guys. So, remember how it was in the 60s? Stand up, sit down, here's a place for pens. What can I do? I can basically start the engine. Since the engine is almost like a tank's, the starting procedure is pretty much the same. We carefully add a little bit of throttle, then firmly press the designated button, subsequently raising the crucial oil pressure to a stable level of 4, and finally, we smoothly initiate the starting procedure for the engine. If you truly think a very large ship can set sail incredibly quickly, then you are gravely mistaken. It's a whole ritual. I don't understand it yet, but it looks beautiful. A bit of history. The tugboat project began development in 1947 by order of the Ministry of the Merchant Fleet, approved by the Minister of the USSR Merchant Fleet, Pyotr Petrovich Shershov, hero of the Soviet Union and member of the VKPB, CPSU, since 1938. The technical specifications for the project were developed by Morsud Proct. The first single-deck screw diesel tugboat with a wheelhouse on the forecastle left the shipyard on the 30th of October, 1950. Today, the weather is whispering. The water level in the Malaya Neva has risen, so we can't go out into the Gulf of Finland, and here I am sitting, while a captain of the first rank is steering almost set. The vehicle, the vessel, the steering gear, it's mechanical. And if you look from below, you can see the steering cable. Yes, thank you, that's it. People are working, unlike me. I'm just a tourist in the city on the Neva, so the rudder blade is turned by the cable. I'd like to point out right away that Project 433 and 73 are practically identical. The differences are in the details, which we can discuss later. Our tug is designed to work in ports and open roadsteads, with a range of up to 20 nautical miles from a sheltered port. That's about 37 kilometers in land terms. Moreover, its sturdy sides allow it to operate in slush ice. Comrade Captain First Rank, but this is a tugboat.
A tugboat.
What kind?
A lake tug.
And what does it tow? Barges, ships, or whatever is needed?
Mainly non-self-propelled barges.
All right, maximum speed. What is it?
4.5 knots.
Is that if...
That's just with a complete and full load.
Got it.
With a tow, understood. The maximum is about 7.5. That's somewhere around 15 kilometers per hour approximately.
Yes. Actually, it's 9. That's its maximum. I did my homework. 9, and that's already 17 kilometers per hour. Oh, later they'll say, Zinkevich, you just sit in a soft chair next to Captain First Rank. Yeah, because it's soft. And here is basically a boat now. A boat. It goes to Onega, right?
No, it goes to the Gulf of Finland.
Ah, the Gulf of Finland.
It regularly goes on training voyages and provides valuable naval practice for the students of the military training center. It's used both as a towboat and as a support boat.
they let me do it just a little, just a tiny bit. The reason is that I don't understand the physics of steering a ship. There are delays everywhere. You really need practice, and only practice, nothing else. I forgot to mention the propeller. The ship's propeller is a 4-blade screw with a diameter of 1060 mm. Just think about it, that's over a meter. For comparison, the gas has only 50 centimeters. Well, a little more. When the motor is operating at rated power, the rotation frequency of the mushroom propeller is 488 revolutions in a minute. Such tugs were produced by several enterprises in the USSR, on the territory of the RSFSR, Latvian SSR, and Ukrainian SSR. And even on the territory of modern China, the city of Dalian, which was once the Russian city of Dalny. Honestly, I haven't even told you 30% of what could be said about this vessel. There just isn't enough time. And well, I probably don't know a lot myself. Yeah, I really don't know a lot. I'm learning about maritime topics together with you, because to truly study maritime topics, a lifetime probably wouldn't be enough. But I can open a small window for you and take a look myself. In any case, the hunt, continues.